All right, guys, welcome to another video. It's late fall and there is snow in the forecast for later on in the week. So I thought I would get the GTS out while the weather is still nice and go for a quick drive. I don't know how many more days like this we're gonna have. Yikes. What I wanted to discuss while I was on this drive were the things that I learned at my first driver education weekend with the Porsche Club of America. And it was at a great track, Watkins Glen International Raceway, which was a huge track, 3.4 miles. And I did a whole vlog about what that experience was like, so check that out in the description below. But since I was new at it, there are things that I learned from my instructor and the other guys who participated that I thought I should share to other people who may be considering doing your first track day. Smooth inputs. It's important to have very smooth inputs on track. You don't want to be jerking your wheel because that will definitely upset the car. So one of the things that I really stressed and my instructor really stressed was nice, smooth steering inputs. Keep your head up and look far down the track. So don't just focus on the apex and the turn that you're doing right in front of you. Anticipate the next one. That way you're setting yourself up and you're preparing the car to make sure you're going to enter each one of those subsequent turns with the right approach. And you don't want to be surprised, jerk the wheel or unnecessarily to upset the car. So keep your head up, look far down the road. I was also taught that in autocross as well, and it's real easy to focus right on that cone and that turn right in front of you, and then you're surprised by the next one. You want to look ahead to the next 3 turns so that you're setting yourself up and you don't just focus on the few feet in front of you. Slow in, fast out. You see a turn coming, it's important to slam on the brakes, bring your speed down safely, lift off the brake, then make the turn.
Brake hard. Brake a little more. Stay. Now turn in. Yeah. Get in. Go. Now go.
For beginners, it's important to lift off the brake and then make the turn. There is something called trail braking. I did it by mistake on track and I just washed out the front end, tremendous amount of understeer. So it's important that you take baby steps and learn and grow. So as a beginner, don't trail brake into the turns. That's more for advanced driving. So as you're approaching the turn, hit the brakes, then lift, then make the turn. And all that can happen very quickly.
Brake harder. Off the brakes.
But again, all of your inputs need to be smooth, and that's what I mentioned before. You are lifting off, you're making your turn, all very smooth. So slow in and then fast out. What does that mean, fast out? When you see the apex and you hit that apex, you're back on the gas.
Turn in, yeah, right there. Right there, keep it right there.
Bringing that power up so that you can power out of that turn and get your speed back up again. So slow in, fast out. Don't follow the car in front of you. And what I mean by that is you don't want to follow the driver's line who is in front of you because they may be making a mistake, and if you're following their line exactly, you may be making the exact same mistake that they're making.
Drive your line. Brake hard. Brake. Off the brakes. Turn in. Good. Don't follow. Good. Excellent. Go. Nice. Right in the middle. Stay out. Don't follow him. Stay out. Look at the pole. Now start to dial in. In. Yeah, right there. Yes.
You know, you're listening to your instructor and driving your line to make sure you're getting the best way through those turns. Don't use the parking brake. So when you're doing your hot laps, and again, for one session, it was about 10 or 12 laps across a 3.4 mile track, and you're really stressing your brakes out, you're slamming on the brakes, they're getting super hot, the pads are getting hot. They work fabulous, by the way. The Porsche 911 brakes are fantastic. But when you get back to the pits, your brakes and your rotors are super, super hot, and you don't want to apply the parking brake to those hot rotors, because that'll just fuse the brake pads to the hot rotors, and it could even warp your rotors. So when you pull your car into the pits or into your paddock, don't use the parking brake. Don't buy gas at the track. Kind of plan ahead, see where there are gas stations outside of the track, because the gas will be much cheaper priced there. My wife told me that the gas at Watkins Glen was like $10 a gallon, which is crazy. Now this 911 drinks gas when you're really pushing it like that. So for example, I filled up the tank in the morning, and after 2 of the morning sessions, which is about 24 laps maybe, my car was down to half a tank. So at that rate, for the next afternoon 2 sessions, if I had not gassed up at lunch, I would have been on empty. Plan ahead and get your gas off track. Get a garage. I found it helpful to have a garage slot at my first track day. My wife came up with me, so she had a place that she could sit and relax in the shade. All of our stuff was kept under shelter, which is kind of nice. When you pulled in after doing your laps, you can pull your car in, keep your car cool. So I really enjoyed having a garage slot during my track day, and it was only $25 a day, so that's something you may want to consider. Track days go on rain or shine, so if it's raining outside, this will provide you some shelter from that. When I did my track day, it was hot in the afternoon in particular, so having that garage provided some shade when we weren't on track. So get a garage slot. Stay hydrated. Doing a track day is incredibly physical. I was surprised by that. You're constantly buffeted around, you're pulling all these G-forces, and it puts a lot of stress on your body. You're concentrating fully on what you're doing, and you are doing something incredibly physical, more so than I realized. So it's important that you stay hydrated. On the day that I was driving, it got quite warm in the car, hot actually, and you sweat. It's important to eat. You know, keep your energy levels up so you're sharp in the car. You're pulling incredible amount of G's. Stay hydrated. Get a telemetry app. I think there's a $20 telemetry app for your iPhone called Harry's. I did not have that, and I wish that I did, because now that I look back at my footage and analyze how I was doing, it would have been nice to have that additional layer of data, you know, for speed, for G-forces, and you can even attach it to your ODB2 port so that you can really see what your throttle inputs are, your braking inputs are, and all that data is captured for you. Harry's isn't the only one. I saw a couple of other setups that other drivers had at the track, and they were phenomenal setups. They had cameras attached to them, really high-end kind of telemetry things for about $700–800. So if you really get serious, there's some more expensive options out there for you that are probably better. But for me, who will be doing this just on occasion, I think I'll look at something like Harry's telemetry app. Any damage you have to pay for. So for example, during one of the sessions, the session came to a halt because someone's car started leaking fluids on the track. And so therefore the track workers had to stop all of the runs to clean that up. And they clean that up by sweeping it all away as much as they can, and then they put this kind of white powdery material down where the fluid was to try to dry out that part of the track. And that's great. But my instructor Steve told me that that cost gets passed along to the driver whose car dropped the fluid. I don't know how much that bill cost, but to get the truck out there, get the workers out there, put down the dry component down, all of that cost gets passed along to PCA, and then PCA passes that cost along to you. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed these tips. I hope you found them useful. I'm going to continue to enjoy this drive. It's just great to be in the car. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe to see more content. If I left anything out, or if you have any questions, or if I got something wrong, please leave a comment below. I want to make sure I get things right. Again, I am a beginner at track days, so there's a lot that I need to learn. So if you have any advice that's helpful for me or for others watching this, please leave that down in the comments below. And with that, guys, I'm going to enjoy this drive. Safe drive out there, everybody.